Welcome, welcome, welcome back to another episode of Spirit of the North. You have your host. My name is Casey Blueford, joined by my co-host, Mr. Emil Jones King, Mr. Derek Murray. We are back, able to talk about the first week of the NBA. Pretty hyped about that. A lot of games this week, a lot of texts firing out this week, a lot of takes that got to be updated this week. So we gonna get to it. D, what's going on, bro? How we living?
Man, honestly, it's hard to contain the excitement. Basketball is back, man. We are a weekend.
We are a weekend. I swear we had like 50 texts just over a span of like 3 games, bro. So we're gonna get into it. Emil, what's going on, bro? We got the Niner game going today.
Bang
We got
bang.
Niners and Cowboys this afternoon. I know this is more of a hoop pod, but always got to put on for the Niners though.
Always. Always. I'm excited, man. I'm excited, man. Hoop is back. You know, we're hoop heads, so I'm excited to get into the season, man.
Yeah, so for those that are watching, listening, we are trying a new software. So we're trying Riverside out today. Usually we record on StreamYard, so we're gonna kind of give this one a shot, see how it is, maybe play with it a little bit, and kind of go back and forth to figure out exactly, where our window is per se. So bear with us as we kind of iron that out. So, fellas, let's get to it. So let's just start with opening week vibes. How we feeling about the league? The league is back. We had some big games. Opening night, we had Celtics play. We had Wemby play. We had OKC. Before we get too deep into everything, how do you just feel about the first week of the NBA? Derek, what's your thoughts?
Man, it was lit. If you're a hoop fan and like you've been kind of watching some of these story threads and you're wondering about your favorite player or a squad that you're looking forward to seeing, I feel like you're getting what you asked for, man. So far, there's been a lot of excitement. Uh, I think more buzz than you normally feel going into a season, at least for me. I don't know about y'all.
Yo, tell me, does it feel that way because there's so much parity in the league right now? I mean, you have your top tier teams, but kind of going into the season, maybe the Celtics are the prohibit favorites, but I feel like there's a lot of parity, right? So do you kind of get that feel with it too?
Yeah, it's just interesting to see how these first couple games are going. It seems like the matchups are also better, right? Like typically, and I guess uh, day one aside, typically these first few games are kind of like filler. You know what I mean? Like you got
Hmm.
Charlotte versus Atlanta. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like some of the
Yeah.
major teams are matching up. You got Dallas going against the Suns already. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Kings Lakers played last night.
Yeah.
Usually Kings don't play the Lakers until February, so
Man,
I feel
easily,
like we getting
easily.
right
Yep.
to it. You know what I mean?
They for sure. They for sure are. All right, Emil, what about you, bro? How you feeling about opening week?
Man, excited, man. Super excited. Just overall, the different moves that the teams made with players. Of course, a la Kings with DeMar DeRozan. Also, just seeing a lot of different, like new faces. You know, we're getting older
Mm.
and seeing a lot of this young talent that's coming up. Um, for instance, I'm a fan already for the Hornets. Trey Mann, Allen Iverson Jr. I like the way he plays. You know, I'm like,
Yeah.
who is Trey Mann? You know what I mean? So like a lot of the young talent, new faces are, um, I feel like it's a passing of the torch, and it's good to see like every team has some good like talent. So
I
very
agree.
exciting week for
I
me.
agree. So let's kick this thing off. I mirror everything that you guys are saying, and let's get into it. All right. So we'd be remiss if we didn't start with the champs. So the champs, Boston Celtics, went 3-0 this week, kicking off opening night against the New York Knicks. They smashed the Knicks by 20. I think it's 21 points. I think something like that. 21 points or something like that. A couple nights later, they go on the road and they give the work to the Washington Wizards. And then last night, Boston, they completed their first week of the season. Went on the road and mopped up the Detroit Pistons. So Boston Celtics opening week. What are some of your overall thoughts?
Well,
Derek, we'll start off with you.
first and foremost, talk about strength of schedule. I mean, like, come on, dog. They start off. I mean, yeah, obviously New York had a lot of buzz going into this season with the trade for Cat. People saying that they are the number one contender for the throne, right, for the Eastern throne. So aside from that game, which we'll get into, I'm sure, here in a little bit, to start off the season playing the Washington Wizards and the Detroit Pistons, two teams who've been in the bottom five for the last 5 seasons at least. I don't think the Pistons or Washington has been good in over 2 decades at this point. To start off the season like that, I'm not going to blow my top. One thing I'll say is I'm doubling down on Jason Tatum. I'm on his
Oh,
neck.
okay. Let's
All right.
hold on. Let's get to the Tatum because we were gonna have
I'm
this
on his
conversation. Yeah.
texturized afro. All right.
All right. So let's talk about it real quick. Jason Tatum opens up the season. What do he have? A 36 point night, 36.9 opening night. I think something like
Uh-huh.
that. Let me see.
Yep.
36-point night. They mopped up the Knicks. He's 7 for
He
I
looks
think 13
extremely
from three.
aggressive too.
He playing like he got a chip on his shoulder. You would have thought he's playing like he might have got benched at the Olympics. So, Emil, what's your thoughts on JT? JT coming out firing. What's your thoughts on JT?
Um, you know me, I'm not a big JC fan for some reason. I don't know why. But nah, he looked good. Like him adjusting his shot. It does look more fluid. So
Yo,
like
about that.
the Olympics,
Uh,
I think the Olympics really humbled him with different things, and it does look like he put in the work during the off season to work on certain hitches to make him better. So he looks good, man. And like I said, like they always look good during the regular season. I just want to see him, of course, continue it on in the playoffs and see what he does.
Case before you
like
gloat. Before you
I'm not
gloat.
going. I'm not gonna gloat today. I'm
Before
not
you
gonna
gloat.
gloat today.
All I'm gonna say is, I 100% agree with you, Emil, and I'm not going to hate on the work that he's put in. It looks like he's put in so far. His jump shot looks way better, more fluid. He seems extremely aggressive. All these criticisms we've kind of mentioned though, right? Like these
Right.
aren't, we didn't just pull these out of our butt cheeks here. These were very very credible critiques. But I'm glad to see he's adjusted it. And what one thing I'll say, Case, and I'll let you go in. I need to see it for
Who's
100
into it.
plus.
By the
All
way,
I forgot. I
I
just
just saw
show
a
this.
unicorn. A
I
carry was
forgot to
called in
show
the
this.
NBA. It was on Cool Volley.
I forgot to show this real quick. You know why you talking, D? In case you need some little background.
Had him
Just a little
dancing.
background.
Had him on
A little
skates.
background. I
Yeah,
couldn't even get. I couldn't get the full screen, but let's watch that one more
he hit
time in
the
case the folks missed it.
he hit the samba.
I feel.
Samba.
I, I feel like JT switched up, he switched up the jumper and Derek switched up his tape.
Had him dancing.
Yeah, man. So I feel I got Twitter now for us, D. So we got live clips now. Now we got real
Nice.
clips now. All right, so you doubling down on the JT take. I respect it. I respect it. So what would be, in your opinion, what is considered a successful year for Jason Tatum?
MVP.
MVP? Finals
MVP.
MVP? Can you win?
MVP.
Can you win
MVP
regular
of the
season,
regular season and MVP
Mm.
of the finals.
bro?
Double down.
I
That,
need it for 100 plus, champ.
okay. he
Well,
get he.
the reason why though I say this is because he's moving like he should be Ant Edwards, right? Like he should be
Mm-hmm,
Luca, and
mm-hmm.
I'm looking for him to create separation. He hasn't even created it on his own team, so I need him to. I need him
Wow.
to be a dog for 100 plus, and then I'll
All
give him
right,
his props.
email about the Celtics. I'm not sure if you're even able to see the game. Do they have the most potent and unstoppable offense in the NBA right now?
I feel like it's really up there. They're the most complete. 5-man roster we spoke about before.
Yeah.
Every level position can get a bucket, and just like they have chemistry, you know. So I feel like they're definitely the most complete starting five roster for sure. And along also with their bench, you know, they have a nice bench as well that they incorporate. So I would say it's like one of the most potent.
Yeah, so without getting too nerdy into it, I think there's maybe some other pods that kind of do that. They what they do is they run a 5 out offense. They run a high
Mm,
pick and roll, and what they're looking to do is they're looking to get um, a 3-on-2 or a 2-on-1 on the opposite side all the
mm,
time. And I feel like the way Joe Mazzulla's got him spaced, and like the way the offense flows, like I feel like they get wide open threes all the time.
mm,
And so it's a very difficult offense to guard, especially when they get Porzingis in there. Um, yeah, to me they have the most high powered offense in the NBA. Now we'll see what happens because there's nights when you're trying to figure out what is going on. But overall, I feel like they're gonna be a juggernaut. And I feel like both Jays got a chip on their shoulder this year, kind of coming into the season. I think we kind of talked about that already. So I'm interested to see what the Celtics do. But it is only week one, so I'm not gonna gloat too much. But I feel like JT might have got the stroke back. We'll see. We'll see.
Yo,
Pause.
Case. One
Yeah, what's
thing
up,
I'll
D?
say about the offense for the Celtics. Um, One, I would say that they do have the most potent offense. I think the 5 out offense is essentially that's the triangle of this era, right?
Yeah,
mm.
Basically,
they,
every team should
and they
have a version of this.
mhm,
But
they
for the
max it out.
Celtics, it is based on their shooting, right? And I think
Yeah.
that is what is the understated piece about this. They shoot better than pretty much any team in the league right now. You
Mhm.
can see that with the amount of attempts, points per possession, right?
Right.
But it's very high variable. So when they're not shooting well,
Yeah.
they tend to lose, right? So it's a matter of them being able to stay dialed in for a majority of the year so they can win more than they lose in that case. But I do agree
Yep.
that they're the best offense.
Yeah. And to be fair, I think I had them at 60 wins this season. But I mean, when you playing the Pistons and the Wizards 3 times a year, you gonna fill up some of those wins pretty fast. So, all right. So that down. Let's move over coast to coast. Right. So right now we have the World Series going. We got the Yankees, Dodgers, coast to coast. We're gonna go from Boston though to the West Coast. We got to talk about the Lakers. We got to talk about the Lakers. Lakers wrapping up the week with a 3-0 record. Some pretty impressive wins actually from the Lakers this week. So opening night, Derek, I'll let you talk about the Lakers. What they do this week? Who they beat this week?
Man, we went through a gauntlet. You know what I mean? We went through a slight gauntlet, but we withstood that. We played Minnesota at home for game 1.
hmm
I'm sure we'll get
Impressive.
into what happened there, the father and son game, as we'll call it.
hmm
But obviously, Minnesota is one of if not the top tier in the NBA.
hmm
We also played Phoenix night 2. Now, luckily, we've had the benefit of a home stretch, right? I believe all these games
Oh,
are at
that's true.
crypto,
All three,
right?
huh? Yep.
Um, Kings being the last game last night. But I like what I see, guys. And I'll let you guys take off from there. But I like what I see, man. And I'm honestly surprised because I thought that this was going to look a lot different.
Yeah. So given that we have to go pretty wide here, first week, pause. There's a couple things I want to talk about. Let's get the Bronny thing out the way. Great moment. Was nice. I feel like JJ sprinkled him in at the right time, right? Perfectly fine. What are you guys' thoughts on the Bronny moment? Email, share your quick thoughts, and then we got to move on to the actual basketball. Oh,
Overall, man, it it was good for the sport, man. You know, seeing the father and son, come in at the same time, look at each other, it'll be good for the documentary for LeBron. You know,
yeah.
so
Right.
but honestly, it was a good thing for sports history, father and son playing together. But
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah, that's enough. That's plenty. Derek, what's your thoughts on it?
Man, I thought it was one big stroke pause of LeBron's ego. You know what I'm saying? It's like, listen, I'll say it. I'll say it once. I'll say it a lot of times, man. Shout out to LeBron for being a good dad. Like, I'm not gonna hate
Hmm.
on him for being a good father, right? But at the same time, man, everybody knows doggone well Bronny doesn't belong on that team. He doesn't belong on the NBA roster.
Bronny know he don't belong on the team, bro. Like,
So I'm glad that we got it out the way. I'm glad that JJ was smart enough to, do it at a
just get it
time
done.
where we were
Hmm.
already kind of in a flow. This wasn't going to take away from that. It was still going to set us up, put us in position to be competitive in that game. So overall, it could have been way worse. I'm glad that it ended up being what it was.
All right, D. So we're gonna pass it right back to you. What's your thoughts? I feel like JJ's got the team moving the ball a little bit better. I feel like that
Mm-hmm.
there was a little bit more motion. I feel like the vibes were smooth right now with the Lakers. Um, AD balled first game, which after watching the first quarter was interesting because I was like, AD missed a lot of shots. Then I'd go run some errands or whatever, come back, watch it, tune into the second half. I'm like, you got 30 something? Like, so he just picked it up the second half. So give me your thoughts on JJ. Give me your thoughts on AD, and then we'll hit on Braun's triple dub a little bit later on. So what's your thoughts on your squad right now? How you feeling? What's the
Man,
vibes?
man, I am really impressed with JJ. I think I underestimated it because of the pomp and circumstance around his hiring. He's never coached professionally before, so that's one thing. Two, he's a celebrity. Let's just call it what it is. He's basically hoop Joe Rogan, right? So you have that component that kind of comes with its own media frenzy, and then you
Hmm.
have the fact that he's an ex NBA player, right? So like I think I was coming into this skeptical. I know he can talk a good game. I mean, we've seen that for the last several years now, but
Hmm.
I feel like he came with a vision, and we'll get into that a little bit more. But he's got buy-in from these guys.
Yo, the
He's got
vibes, the
buy-in from
vibes
these
feels
guys.
for
And it
sure.
starts with Bron, right? Like if it
Hmm.
wasn't for Bron acknowledging that, man, this guy is a smart dude. Like this guy's a smart guy. Finally, I have a coach that I can be a nerd with. Finally, I have a coach that understands the new concepts that maximize the talent that we have, or at least creates a system where now we know what we need. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I'm really impressed with it. He made AD the focal point, right? Took that
Like,
responsibility off
like
Bron.
legit made him like instead of just talking, they legit
Yeah.
made him the focal point. You know what I mean?
So
We've
they,
been hearing that
they're
for years
starting
now.
they're starting actions with him, as the ball handler, or they just get it to him early and make things happen around him. So I like that. I like that they've taken that pressure off Bron. I like that they're maxing out Austin Reeves.
Hey, Austin hooping.
Point Austin.
He's
Austin's
hooping.
hooping.
He's hooping.
Austin's hooping, bro.
Yeah,
Austin's really hooping right now.
he's really hooping.
Like
So
real
No,
talk.
no, he's
Like,
really
so I
hooping.
don't know. I don't know what this looks like for a full 82, but I think that with the right pieces, JJ could be successful fast. I'm just
Yes.
hoping that the players stay healthy and everybody sticks to their roles. But so far, I'm impressed.
Emil, I know that we grew up a Kings fan. It's tough to talk about the Lake Show, right? But
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on the Lake Show?
Hey,
And and just all in all, what Braun is doing at 40 years old, bro. Like this is sick. Like this is sick. So just what's your thoughts on the Lakers?
man. We are spirit of the North, but I am realistic, and after I I ate a batch of humble pie this week. Last week, watching the Lakers play. Um, a stat. You guys are very good at stats, but I had saw something, and this is for Derek. The last time the Lakers were 3-0 was the 2010 Lakers.
Okay. Finals.
and that's when they won the championship. But I'm just saying that's Kobe. That's Kobe and Gasol. But you guys have not started 3-0 like that since like a while. And JJ Redick, he could be a better Kerr 2.0. But he really knows the game. People
Hmm.
said that he was like studying the film on a laptop in the car wash. I saw something. So like
And
he really is
B
shooting at
Diddy,
the game.
uh,
B Diddy,
Yeah.
I saw that too.
source, Baron Davis, the source.
B Diddy, I believe him. He's all through LA. But no, Lakers look really good, man, and like their style of play, and we spoke about it off the cusp. Their style of play fits with modern time, and it shows who was their coach before compared to who their coach is now. So JJ Redick actually is really surprising me. And Lakers, I'm not gonna lie, they look kind of scary. Coming from a Kings fan and for the league, and
Yeah.
LeBron looks
So
amazing being 40, still doing what he's doing, man. Like, I think what he had, did he have 30 points or like what do he have his stat line? I know you
he
have
had
I
all
think
the
he
stats.
a
had like
nasty
32 last night. I think
Yeah,
32, 14, and 10 or something like
yeah,
that. This
jump
was
at
shot looks
40.
extremely wet. I don't
like
think Bron has ever looked this wet before.
He
nah,
look he
no,
looks
no, no Diddy, bro. Like he for sure wet right now, bro. Like look like baby oil wet, bro. Just
Yeah, like he
just
pulls up
slap
and
that
it's
thing
he's
like
on, just wet.
you
he's
pretty
scary. He
much
look
Yeah.
know it's probably
LeBron
gonna
looks
go
scary.
in.
He looks
I
scary.
feel like he just like there's something about just being free in life, right? When your mind is free, your head is free. Like he's just playing free right now. So this upcoming week they play the Suns again. So your next game is tomorrow night at Phoenix, which is they got them already back to back. That's crazy. Then you go to Cleveland and then you go to Toronto. So you got a nice little road trip coming up. So honestly, I feel like they should be able to take two of those three for sure. So. All right, so let's hit on some. So we talked about the two big teams, right? So let's hit on some storyline stuff. So I'm going to give you the headline and share your take. First one, straight out the gates, from MVP to DMP. Let's talk about Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yo, I'm weak, bro.
Yo, from MVP to DMP. Let me cook first on this one. Yo, everyone's already talked about, it, so I'm not gonna go too deep into it. I just think if I'm Adam Silver, this is the biggest slap in the face that one can give. This is the slap contest when you got your hands behind your back, you got to stand in this dude's face. He's licking his hands and he slaps some shit out of you. Like this is not cool, bro. It's opening night of the NBA season. You just signed a new contract. You just played in the Olympics. You've had all off season to rehab, and you ain't there for opening night. Like, if I'm a Philly fan, bro, I'm hurt. Like, I'm like, bro, like, I'm spending my hard-earned money. You know how much opening tickets cost, bro?
No,
I actually looked it up. So nosebleed seats for that game, because I want to make sure I had this stat. Nosebleed seats for that game were easily over 115, and you ain't got the process, right? Come, it's just so disrespectful to the NBA, so disrespectful to Adam Silver. And the thing about it is, I feel like ain't nobody gonna say nothing, do nothing about it. I felt like Kevin Garnett. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sure we all heard when KG went off, like it's part of the job, God. Like what he said, it's part of the job, Lord. Like it's
Lord.
like Lord, it's part of the job,
Lord,
Lord. Like I felt him in my soul, bro. Like I this is why I can't get down with Joel, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm sure he'll give me other moments. It's only the opening week. I think he's only out first 3 games of the season. But I'll tell you what, Philly better get to the conference finals. That's it. Enough said. Philly better get to the conference finals. Derek, what's your thoughts on the MVP?
Look, man, I stuck my neck on the line for this dude, man. I put my
You went to the
personal,
blocks. You went to the blocks, like
professional credibility on the line for this dude, man. One thing I can't, and we kind of touched on this in our group chat. One thing I can't excuse, man. You had this whole season, this whole off season, to get ready for game one. I would have no issue if you played game one. You had knee soreness and sat out game two. That's totally fine with me, man. I'm sure people will critique you, but I'm not one of them. But to miss game one, especially after playing in the Olympics, right? Especially after, these sound bites come out, you talking about you lost 20 pounds, you've been working with nutritionists, you know what I'm saying? For you to then say, I'm never going to play back-to-backs ever again, and then be a DMP for game one, this is inexcusable, man. Inexcusable work, nasty work, right? As the young kids say today, filthy work. And I don't see the 76ers going to the doggone conference finals, man. They'll be lucky if they are a playing team, in my opinion, because them without Paul George and Joel Embiid, two guys who they spent the bank on, leaving Tyrese Maxey and a bunch of plumbers and
Yeah, Kelly Oubre's and shit.
who are these guys, man? I don't even know half these guys. For them to just be that and Nick Nurse, this could get ugly this year.
Yeah. Email, you want to hit on this one, or you want email, you want to hit on this one, or you want to go to the next one?
They should change his name to Joel and Please, because they ask him all the time to please play. We already saw this coming. When we saw his
Oh, man.
headline that says, I don't believe I should play back-to-back games to get ready for the playoffs. Bro, you guys might not make it. That's it.
Yeah, it's unacceptable. Unacceptable, and I'm sure there'll be other instances throughout the year. All right, next storyline. Does the Joker need a deck shuffle? So, Nikola Jokic is out here hooping per usual. All right, Jokic is out here hooping. I think he had a 41-point night last night. Meanwhile, your backup point guard, number 4, is 2 for 18 and minus 40 anytime he's on the court. Now, I know the Nuggets were they were my championship pick, and I'm holding out hope. I could be completely wrong on that one. If I was, it is what it is. I was trying to go against the grain. But what
Yeah, you were
what's
tripping,
what
bro.
what's Jokic supposed to do? What's Jokic supposed to do? What's he go? What's he need? Give him a prescription.
Hey,
What's the prescription here?
he need to slide back to Serbia and tap in with Olga one more time.
Get on the horse. Get on the horse. You gotta get on the horse.
Nah, look, man. Look, Case, you got to eat this, bro. I mean,
I do.
anybody who knows who could see this coming, man. They
Yeah.
can see this coming. You can't get rid of two staples in your championship squad in back-to-back seasons for nothing and expect to continue being great. It just doesn't work like that. Michael Porter Jr., like I feel like he's trying to add his verse to the mixtape. You know what I mean? Like now he want to get into his Lil Wayne bag, and I feel like he's not built for that. He's not built to be the number 2 on the squad. I don't think he has enough. He seems a bit stiff out there, right?
Yo.
And they just don't have anybody. Jamal Murray looks like a shell of his former self out there. They just don't have anybody behind Jokic that can help prop him up right now.
Emil, what is up with Jamal Murray, bro? Like, what has happened? What has happened from Game 7 of the Game 7 of the semifinals last year to we'll skip the whole Olympics. But what has happened from there to opening day? Like, what is going on with the Nuggets, bro? What's Big Yoke supposed to do?
Man, he needs to shuffle the deck, man. I see probably some trades happening. I don't know. Jamal Murray's not the same, man, and I don't know what happened. It could be mental, but he's looking second tier, third tier now. When he was like in MVP talks in the past, he lost his mojo, and I don't know how he's gonna find it. I don't know if he'll ever find it. And sad to say, Nuggets they may not look as strong because I feel like Jokic and that Jamal Murray punch was the punch. That was that 1-2 punch, along with what Derek said, having those pivotal pieces, those role player pieces. So they kind of we're seeing them implode right before our eyes, man. So
Mike Malone on the
Yeah.
hot seat.
on the
You,
hot
you
seat.
know what? What's funny to me is the other guy who's actually kind of hooping on the team is Brom. Like and that was what
Yeah.
I was really worried about kind of coming into the season. Granted, this week one we know this. This is an overreaction week one. We know this, but Brom's actually kind of hooping. It's the guys who know they role who need to step into their role. So all right, next topic. Clay no longer a stray. So Clay Thompson has a nice opening week with the Mavs. He sets the record game one with what 7 3-pointers made.
Oh,
Clay, email. We're gonna kick it off with you. Does Clay just
No,
want to be
no, no,
loved?
no, no. Hold on, E.
Oh, you
Hold
want
on,
to
E.
you want to go? You want to cook? You
No,
want to cook,
no, no, no. You need to cook.
bro? I'm not saying that. It's 3 games in, bro. I'm not saying nothing. It's 3 games in. It's three
No,
games
you
in.
need to cook.
I, I will pay homage. He came out wet. came, came out wet. But here's the deal. Here's the deal. Let me say it. It's a long season, bro. It's a
Um,
don't let Kyrie or Luca get injured. Kyrie might see something in Islam and Kyrie might be gone for a bit. Hey, don't let Clay become second option or nothing like that. Nah, in all seriousness,
yeah,
Clay cooked. He cooked opening night, and honestly, in all seriousness, it's good to see. Like it's good to see Clay do well. I think everybody loves Clay. I personally just don't think he's going to be the difference maker to get them over the hump. But all in all, it was really good to see Clay. So I'll say that. I still don't think what was the over under was it what was it 17 points? What we say? 16 or
I,
17
th-
points?
I think we said
it
16
was
or something like that.
16.
I think 16 points per
16?
game. I
Okay,
think.
okay. Yeah, and he's right above
He
that
had
right now. So
19
he's
last night.
yeah. So I think all in all he'll probably end up probably around that 17, 18. So we'll see. Long season, we'll see. But email, what's your thoughts on Clay Thompson first week?
He went from a splash brother, and my nickname for him is catch and shoot Clay, man, because that's all he's going to be doing with the Mavs, man.
Yeah.
I enjoy him seeing like Luca and Kyrie. There's so much attention on them. He is going to get so many wide open shots. He's going to go above the 16 points per game. Like he probably right there. He probably like on the cusp of it. But it's good to
Hmm.
see Clay in this era. He's not the same. However, I think he'll be a good fit for the Mavs. And I know you said it's a long season, but I'm looking at him right now, and he look good right now. So we're gonna soak it in.
Hmm.
We're gonna soak it in.
Nah, you're right. And you're right. You're right to do that, bro. Absolutely. D, what's your thoughts on Clay?
Well, first I would say this is the best team by far that Luca has ever had. In my opinion.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
say that these are the pieces around him now are the most ideal pieces he's ever had. He's got a
Yeah.
secondary ball handler who can take over when necessary, just in case he needs a rest, right? Now he has a knockdown shooter with proven track record in, big games. Like this isn't Tim Hardaway Jr., you know what I
That's
mean?
true.
this
That's
isn't
true.
this isn't Seth Curry. This is a legitimate champion we're talking about who did just come off averaging 18 points a game. And these were things
Yeah.
that they were lacking last year as well. So I just want to start off by saying my MVP take is still very well
Well,
intact.
it's
All right.
live. It's for show live right now. I
but
think
but my bad, Case. My bad. I was just
no,
gonna
go
say
ahead. Go ahead.
to touch on Clay. I think he's never been in a position like this before.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
Golden State, he was a focal point for opposing defenses, and in this situation, he's the third option. And like Emil said, with the way that their offenses ran, with Luca being the hub that he is and getting downhill, Luca's got to be one of next to Bron. Luca's
Yeah.
got to be one of the best players in the NBA of being able to get downhill through contact. So
Hmm.
he just creates so much gravity that you're gonna have to you're gonna have to touch him. Pause. And if you're not touching him, you got to watch out for the vertical threat in Lively or Gafford. You got to watch out for corner three threats and PJ or secondary ball handling in Kyrie. And it just leaves Clay wide open, man. There's just nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. The one thing I was interested to see was Clay's body language. because the reason I say that is, he comes from an offense that's very motion centric. And we know Luca can be very heliocentric as far as an operator, especially he didn't play in the preseason. Coming back into it, he took some funky shots. And watching the other night, he was taking some shots. I was just interested to see Clay's body language because he's used to move, 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 move versus somebody dribble, 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 dribble. So I thought honestly Luca and Kyrie did a good job of feeding him the ball, getting him his touches. They ran some good sets. They actually ran sets. The Mavs
Wow.
ran sets. Like
That's what I'm
that was
saying.
that was that was something big to see. So it was I yeah, you have every reason to be optimistic about the Mavs. So and Klay Thompson. All right, next one. The Winter Soldier comes up cold. Let's have a conversation about the true Winter Soldier in the NBA, Tyrese Halliburton. The Winter Soldier. If you know, you know.
I was like, where's he going?
If you know, you know.
Yo, I'm
That
dead.
man, that man stays on the slopes. But Tyrese Halliburton putting up a donut at the Garden. Big deal, no big deal. Derek, what's your thoughts?
Huge deal, man. Huge deal. Yo, that was awful. That was awful for what I think all of us would agree, a rising star to put up a donut in the Garden. That's the type of game that's gonna stick with you. Like that's a legacy defining moment right there. And it just circles back to the off season where he got no tick in the
Mm.
Olympics, right? He was tickless. The Negro averaged 10 handshakes a game. And then he's in some bathroom shirtless with 3 bunnies, man. Yeah, man. This is a horrible look. It's gonna be an uphill battle for him this season because in my book, he's looking from
he looking
from
he
photo
looking mid.
day to now. He's looking extremely suspect.
He's
I'm
looking
not. I'm
straight
honestly
Urkel.
not rocking with Tyrese Halliburton.
Nah, bro. That's what don't. That's why. That's why he the Winter Soldier, bro. He stayed with the snow, bro. He stayed. He stayed. He stayed with the 3 snows. Oh man, did you get a chance to take a look at the Knicks and the Knicks and Pacers game?
I honestly saw some clips. But I agree with D on the grand scheme of things. Like when you're in the Mecca, the Garden, you got to show up. Like you stars elevate during that time, and to throw up a big goose egg, you can tell from the Olympics to now. He probably put in no work instead of like skiing on the slopes. That's it. But
He
that's
working. He working.
it's
That Negro's working.
NBA work.
Yo, tell me you got that video.
So it was
Yeah.
very disappointing, man. And honestly, that will dampen and put an asterisk on anything he does when it comes to playing in the Garden, man. You got to show up and show out.
No, you're right. You're right. So we'll see. We'll see if he can bounce back from here on out. So, last one of the storylines: wise beyond their years. Oklahoma City Thunder starting the season 2-0, looking like a juggernaut. In fact, looking like a straight juggernaut. And what the oldest player on their team is 27, maybe it's
Right.
Caruso now. So maybe he kind of increased the average. They had two good victories this past week. Starting the season, who did they say? I know they beat Orlando this past week, and sorry, they beat Chicago this past week, and
N-
forgot who their other victory was.
Nuggets, I
The
think.
the Nuggets.
They did,
Yep.
yeah, they did beat the Nuggets, yeah. So, but quick thoughts on Oklahoma City. Are they looking the way we thought they were going to look? And yeah, are they looking how the way you thought they were going to look? Derek, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, and they don't have Hartenstein, right?
Yeah,
Hartenstein's hurt. He's got a hurt hand. Um, but I think everybody's kind of made their improvements. You know what I mean? They're stout defensively, and I think that's where they kind of hang their hat. But they're a well oiled, well ran machine on offense. props to Dagnall for basically maximizing everybody in their roles. Everybody kind of knows what they're there for. I'll just be interested to see, over the course of the season, how they maintain the ship and how they incorporate Hartenstein. But they definitely looking like what we thought they were going to look like.
Nah, for sure. Emil, what's your thoughts on OKC this week?
Yeah, I agree, man. They look like how we talked about. They look like a young juggernaut.
Yeah,
And
they look
I love
scary.
their chemistry. I like how Chet looks. Chet Holmgren looks good. Just a side note, like when they at the end of their games, they do they do like team
Mm,
interviews. So
yeah,
I like the camaraderie with it, man. Like so that they're having fun and they're really good too with SGA leading the
yeah,
pack. So I'm excited to watch them throughout the course of the season.
yeah, yeah. They actually play. They play at home against Atlanta tonight. Honestly, they got Atlanta coming up. They got the Spurs coming up. Portland, Clippers. They can roll off. They can easily be 5-1, 6-1 to start the season. Just looking at their schedule, they looking like a juggernaut for sure. All right, so that down. Let's move to the next topic. So I want to. So given that we're going to be talking, either worst case once a week, maybe 2 times a week, I want to talk about performances of the week, right? So I'm going to give you. So on ESPN Monday Night Football, they have like the Hemi Award, right? Who was him for this week? We'll have to get creative and think of a award that we want to call this, but pretty much for right now, we're going to call it Performance of the Week. Here are our options. We have Braun last night, 34, 14, and 10 against the Kings. Comeback victory. Ron was just he was terrific last night. There's no way around it. We have Nikola Jokic in a losing effort, 40 point night. I think it was 41 and 10 if I recall correctly against the LA Clippers the other night. James Harden himself had a 26 and 14 game I think that same night. So we got Braun, we have Jokic. We had LaMelo Ball against the Rockets. LaMelo Ball put up a nice effort against the Rockets. I believe it was 36 and 12. I could be wrong, maybe a little bit wrong on those numbers, but LaMelo Ball had a great effort. And then also, it's early in the season, so we got to shout him out. We had Trae Young. Trae Young had a good outing last night, this week as well. So I got to go grab Miles for a second, so I'll make sure I take that part out. But Emil, we'll kick it off with you. Who was your performance of the week?
I'm glad you mentioned his name because we spoke about him prior, and that was a guy I was excited to see this season. LaMelo Ball, man, big
Mm,
baller brand.
yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
his performance that game, when he had 7 or 8 threes, but just how effortless it looked, and he was doing 3 pointers off one leg. Like he makes the game fun and exciting when he plays, man, and he's really good. Getting everybody involved. It's showtime when he plays. And I feel like if he stays healthy, like he'll be top 5 point guard to me. So
Yeah,
his
let me put
performance
some
looked
respect on
really
that.
good.
34 points, 11 assists,
31, 7 and 7.
8 rebounds. 8 rebounds. Yeah. Solid.
31, 7 and
Solid
7 for
performance.
the week. I had looked it up like naturally. I'm like he's really
That's his
balling.
average? Yeah,
31, 7
that's
and
a
7 so
31-7 and
far.
7.
Yeah.
that's a great kickoff week. That's a great kickoff week. Let me Derek, before you go, I'm gonna have to edit this. Let me get your thoughts on your player of the week. Give me 1 second though.
Am I supposed to go?
You can cause he or we can just wait for him and he edits
Yeah,
it.
I'll just wait till he comes back.
Yeah, we'll wait. Cause I like the squad. How's your day going, bro?
So far, so good, man. Just
All right.
kind of,
Sorry guys, I'll edit that piece out.
yep.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
we're
All right.
waiting for you, bro. He didn't do his take until you got back.
All right, D. So let's get back to it. D, what's your thoughts on who's your player of the week?
Yeah, man. So you forgot the main person.
Who's that? Oh,
And
the JT one?
so I gotta add. No, not JT. But
AD?
I have to add a person to the ballot, and that would be AD.
Yeah. That
AD,
was the next one.
and I would, I guess, to focus it, be more specific about it. Game one,
One.
against Minnesota. I mean, he's playing against 3-time defensive player of the year, multi-time candidate Rudy Gobert, and made him look like dog water. Right?
He did though. He cooked.
He made
He
him look
cooked.
unplayable. So I gotta go AD. I like the way he's looking so far. I think that if he can stay healthy, right,
Mm,
he could be in MVP talks.
mm.
No, I agree. I agree. That was literally the next one on my list. I was like, should I go at
Okay.
4, go at 5? AD for sure was. So I'm glad you brought that up. So that kind of transitions to the next segment that I want to talk about. I want to talk about ceiling raising. So ceiling raising meaning I'm going to either name a player or a team, and I want you to tell me what either that player needs to work on in order to raise the ceiling for him or his team, or if I mention the team, you tell me, hey, what needs to happen in order for that team to get to that next level. So with that being said, D, I'm going to come right back to you. So Anthony Davis, monster night, monster. Let's talk about honestly for 2024. Anthony Davis has had a great year. We're not even going to talk about this. These, the first 3 games. Like last season was the most healthiest season he's been. Him and Braun balled, and I feel like if they played anybody else but Denver, I felt like they would have won. They would have went further in the playoffs. But they have won. I don't know. Olympics. I mean, we talk about Steph. He had the 2 good games.
Mm.
We talk about Braun, who was pretty steady. Anthony Davis was pretty steady the whole Olympics too, and was a factor in the gold medal victories. Now we come into this season. JJ Redick is making him the focus, literally making him the focus, not just talking about making him the focus. What does Anthony Davis need to do in order for the Lakers to take that next leap? So how could their ceiling be raised?
Man, I think if he does this, if he plays within the system that JJ has set up for him for a majority of the season without getting a major injury, I think that will raise his ceiling and the team's, in my opinion,
Mm.
because he's doing everything that one would consider a superstar does on their team, right? I think, aside from a few Sabonis games last season, he he
That's
was
true.
also, like you said, Case, doing those things, but he wasn't the focal point. He was
Yeah.
doing that within the role that Darvin Ham set for him, which was, basically a Bron backup.
Mm.
But now in this
Mm.
role where he is kind of taking that leadership position, and he seems very comfortable. He's vocal.
Mm-hmm.
He
He
seems like he's
does.
got a little swagger. You know what I mean? He's got a little dog in him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think if he can play 65 plus games again at this level,
Mm.
that raises our ceiling.
I
Wow.
agree. I like it. You see how he threw that R in, Emil? Like that R.
Yeah. Our ceiling. Yeah. Team
All
Lakers.
right, Emil, I'm coming to you now. So we're gonna go to team. Houston Rockets. Houston Rockets look. I guess what are they 1-1 this first week? I can't remember what their record is for the first week. But Houston Rockets, I feel like they show signs of, hey, we can play with the big boys, and then there's other nights when like, yo, like what's going on here, right? Just part of being a young team. So what are your thoughts on the Houston Rockets? What needs to happen? Who needs to step up? Like, how do they take that next step?
To me, it's really trial and error with them because they're so young. Like I told you guys before, I'm thinking Jalen Green will have a big year. But I feel like the overall chemistry needs to be maintained with them. You know, bringing it every night. You can't just have like big moments to shine or big times like every other time. You need to like show up and compete every like really every day. To me, so I feel like just it comes with time with a young team. But I feel like they just have to continue to gel together. Um, their ceiling to me, like I don't know if they'll make the playoffs and things like that. So they have to work.
Oh,
We lost him.
we lost Emil. Emil, you still there? We lost you for a second. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
somebody was
That
calling. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So all in all, yeah, Emil said they need to jail. I hear you. I hear you on that. So question for you. All right. Let's go through the boxes. All right. So if you like it, check. If not, X. Head coach with Ime Udoka. Do you feel like check or X?
Mm.
Can Ime Udoka get you over to the top? What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I would say yes.
I
I
think
would
so too.
say
I think he's
yes.
proved it. He's proved
Hmm.
it, right? Like, I mean, granted, the team was better, but that team, they were a little bit more seasoned. Yes, they had more experience. Yes, but I feel like Ime proved that hey, he can get them to that next level. All right,
I think so.
so okay, um, veteran leadership. So when I look at the roster,
Mm.
X.
you got X. Okay, that's what you think.
X.
That's what's missing, huh?
X.
You got a former G League guy, slash role player who is who was an elite jump shooter on Toronto, but you got him as your vet
Hmm.
basically. And these guys, you guys all you Emil Case, you guys know these guys only respect the goats, man.
Yep.
You know what I
Yep.
Yep.
mean? So unless you've been in the trenches and like been through some real wars, as an elite
It's the
option,
guy.
they're not listening to that. And I feel like you've got him as he's supposed to be the de facto guy like that, and
Hmm.
it's just falling on deaf ears. And Ime can only do so much. In my
Yeah.
opinion, I think man, we might have to look at Maury in this situation.
Oh, okay. Looking at Daryl, huh? Because my
Yeah.
next one was going to be young talent. So we know they got the. Oh, we lost email.
Uh-oh.
Okay, he'll come back. We know they got the young talent. We know. I believe in the coach. So to me, it comes down to vets. Like you mentioned, Fred. They like are guys still listening to Jeff Green? Like,
Yeah, Jeff Green
mm,
might be too
mm,
He's
old.
too old.
like are guys still listening to Steven Adams like that?
Right, right.
Right. So
Steven Adams, who hasn't played in the last 3 seasons.
Yeah.
You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah. So he's more he's like the DeAndre Jordan now. It's good for the roster morale. You
Right.
know what I
Right,
mean? Like
right.
Right.
I don't
He'll
I
show
don't
you how to
expect
be
you
a
to
pro on the road. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Let me show you how to not get in trouble. Like
Right.
go to your room
Right.
and wake up at 7 and eat breakfast. You know, like stuff like
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
bro. So
yeah,
like
yeah. Take
guys
care of
ain't
your
okay.
body, all
Yeah,
that.
Nobody
yeah.
listening to that.
Guys ain't trying to hear that. If you
Nobody
ain't
listening.
popping, like I ain't trying to get with you right now. Like
Nobody listening to
these
that.
young guys ain't feeling that.
But
All right, so
also,
that
Case, I would say too, he might. I mean, they, as far as Maury is concerned, he might need to move off some of these guards, man. I think it's a little redundant, and I
hey,
think because of
that's
that, these guys they don't know what their role
That's
is. They
true.
don't know if they're
and
supposed to cook or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
These
true.
guys are
hey,
fighting for contracts out there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
It's a lot of guards.
and that was kind of my point early in the season when we had the pod last time when we were talking about Reed Shepard, and I felt like Reed was going to ultimately take
Mm.
Fred Vliet
Yeah.
spot, because I feel like they're so guard heavy. So if Jalen
right,
Green is your guy, we know Jalen Green's your guy, right? So that he's stuck, right? That you got Dylan the villain, like us. Dylan's kind of a small forward, so
yeah,
be it.
he's a forward.
He's a forward.
Um, then you got Reed. You got I'm not sure it's Aaron Holiday C minutes. I know Aaron Holiday's on there.
Yeah,
Um,
but you got the Thompson twin who can
Oh,
yeah, the
also
Amon
fill
Thompson.
in
Yeah,
yeah.
as a
he's
guard.
yeah, and then you got Jabari Smith, who's a forward, but like he needs more touches. So like
Yeah, where
they
he's not really a focal point. So
I, they have the talent. So it's just yeah, I know we're going diving deep into the Rockets, so we'll
Yeah.
come back to
yeah,
this one another time. All right, let's move it on. I'm gonna shift it over to you. Um, Minnesota Timberwolves. So I felt like they had a tough game opening night against who did they play opening night?
Lakers.
Lakers.
Lakers. Tough game. I think it was just like more of a fill out game with Julius Randle trying to get acclimated. Then the next 2 nights later they beat the Kings and for the Kings home opener. Julius Randle I think had a really big night that night. I'm gonna pull up the numbers so we can reference them. But overall, what are your thoughts on? And then they beat Toronto. They beat Toronto Raptors I think last night. They beat Toronto Raptors last night. So what does the Minnesota Timberwolves need to do to get over the hump now? Because I think they probably feel like we made the Eastern Conference Finals last year. We're going back. But I think they're actually going to go back literally the other way. They're going to reverse and they're going to get knocked out in the second round.
Wow.
Yeah,
So what's the floor? What's the ceiling raiser for the T Wolves?
man, it's tough because I feel like they might be at their ceiling. You
Wow.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the only thing I would say is Anthony Edwards ascending to a god tier
Great.
status,
Yeah,
right?
that's it. He's got to have one of those. No, you're right though. Not because, and it's funny. It's funny that you say that because like it kind of has to be that way because from a contractual standpoint, they can't go get anybody, right? That's why they
Right.
moved off cap because they need salary cap room, right? So Rudy, it is what it is. Like you're kind of stuck with them, and trade value is not really there per se, and they don't want to trade him. So Ant really has to just kill. Like when it comes down to that, like he has to have one of those playoffs. He's averaging 35 and 7 or 8, and he's just
Yeah.
killing. So that's kind of
And
what I envision with the T-Wolves.
Big Jew isn't whack. Like let's be clear about that. Julius Randle isn't
No,
trash.
not at
He
all.
just might not be the best fit for what they're
A
trying to
championship
do.
caliber team.
Right,
Anything to
right,
me, in my
right,
opinion, a championship caliber team. I think
right.
Julius Randle is great for 82 regular game season.
Yep,
I think
yep,
he's great for that. I think he'll put up stats. He may scratch the surface of being an all-star potentially in the West,
yeah,
right? He'll scratch
yeah,
that surface.
yeah, for
But when it
sure.
comes down to winning basketball in a 7-game series where you're seeing the same team 4 to 7 times, to me he doesn't get us over that hump.
Yeah,
And his attention to detail is not there.
you can scheme for Julius Randle. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think Julius Randle does anything, and this might sound reckless, but I don't think he does anything elite. He does
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
things. He does a lot of things at a high level, but like
Yeah.
Cat was an elite shooter for a big man. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I do like Dante's minutes though. Dante is definitely
Mhm.
a doggone dog. All right,
Mhm.
he is not taking any mess out there. So I do like his addition. I think he's a fit. It's just all those guys together. Does that equate to a championship? I don't think so, man.
Yeah. All right. Well, I can't finish this segment without talking about. Are they 3-0? Yeah, I think they're 3-0. Without talking about the 3-0 Golden State Warriors. We got to talk about the Warriors. And from what I hear, lives is high right now. Curry's running a 12. I think they're 2-0 actually. Curry's running a 12-man rotation. We know that's not sustainable. But nonetheless, a lot of guys are playing. A lot of guys are contributing. What's your thoughts on the Warriors this week? They beat up on
Hey,
the Jazz and they beat up on Portland. Okay, all right, nothing crazy.
right, right.
But to me, those are the kind of
Well,
games
let's
that
not go
this team,
crazy.
yeah. But those are the kind of games that this team needs from a confidence standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's almost like sometimes like in football, teams will go like 3-0, 4-0, and you'd be like, they didn't play nobody. But they didn't realize we're good. They're like, oh, we're good, we're all right. But then you go 4-0, like, oh no, we're good. That's the confidence that they needed. So
Right.
I'm not saying the Warriors going to get no chip, right? But what are your thoughts on the Warriors post Clay now? They're playing
I
like they
mean,
got a chip.
yeah, I mean, hey, Buddy Hield, right?
Wet.
Buddy
Buddy is
Hield is
wet.
fitting. That was the fit that we overlooked, right? I mean,
That's
he
for sure. Yeah,
plays ideal
it's perfect, right?
for a
It's
Steve
really
Kerr
perfect.
offense, right? For this kind of offense where it's ball and player movement, he's ideal for that. I'm impressed with what I've seen from him. I'm pretty sure Andrew Wiggins was leading scorer the first game. He dropped 20 something plus. So shout out to him. His pops just passed. So I know that he's been going
That's
through a
heavy.
lot, but it was good to see him out there. Listen, man, the NBA is good when Steph Curry has got a good team, right?
Yeah, you're
So
right.
I'm hoping that they can be in play come the end of the year. This is a great start, like you said. Whether this is like warming up or not, this is a confidence builder. And obviously, I think they've got moves to make. Right? If
Yeah.
there's another move to be made to get some size on his roster,
That's the thing.
I think they should do
They
that.
playing like we played in high school, bro. They just
Yeah,
just
just
four
run,
dudes hooping. Yeah,
run and
just run
jump.
and hoop. Yeah.
So, like you said, I don't want to jump off the ledge here, but I am impressed with what I've seen from them so far.
No, I agree. All right, so let's go. So week one, I know we talked about some like the high level games. I want to use this time. Was there any other games, players that you want to hit on, that you want to talk about before we start to plan and prep? Looking forward to next week.
Yeah, man, it was good to see Ja back. Right.
It was.
All right. I think they won and they
They
lost.
won. They won and won. Yeah, they lost to. Who they lose to? Let me see.
I think they just lost last night.
They did. I remember seeing it last night. Yeah. Let's see. So they beat
To Houston.
They lost. Okay, they lost it. It's interesting.
No. They won last night. They beat
They beat the-
Orlando.
They
but
beat the
lost
Jazz.
on Friday.
Oh, so, okay. So they got 3 games. They beat the
Yeah.
Jazz, and then they played. They lost to Houston by 20, that's unacceptable. Week one, bro. Like I just don't understand how you get blown. You know what I mean? Like opening week, you getting blown by 20, and then they beat Orlando.
Yeah.
Beating Orlando might be better than than what we think. So.
Yeah.
But I actually need to tune in with them. I need to watch how they play, because we talked about this before, how the flow of things are. So I need to see how they rock.
They seem to be pretty deep outside of Ja as far as role talent. I think they just need to hone in on what their rotation is. But I'm glad to see Ja back.
Yeah.
I think honestly, Milwaukee for me. Like Milwaukee.
So we didn't get to hit on that one this week, but we're gonna have to talk about them.
I think we'll need to put them on our list of teams to watch this week.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I feel like they had a strong start, low key, and
They did. Dame came out firing week one.
Yeah, we don't want to jump off the ledge too soon with them, but I definitely see something brewing there. They might be jumping up as the number 2 spot here, and I might have to eat my words.
That was
I have to eat my words.
Yeah, like we got him. All right, cool. We got him back.
My bad. I had technical difficulties, y'all. Forgive me.
Nah, you good, bro. This is part of it. This is why we rock. So right now we're about to wrap things up. We're just going through games or teams last week. I know we cover. So on this pod, we're primarily going to cover the big name teams, right? Like who's on TV the most. But what we also want to try to do is like, okay, how can we lock in on some of the teams that are like performances that are doing. Cam Thomas had 36 the other night. Like Milwaukee Bucks. We didn't get to talk about them this time, so like maybe some next time we kind of throw those in there. So yeah, were there any performances, that we didn't cover, or games that were like, yo, that was a good game? I know we talked about LaMelo a little bit, LaMelo Ball hooping.
Yeah.
The Cleveland Cavaliers are 3-0 as well, which is one of those teams that like we probably need to give a little bit more convo to. I feel like regardless of how we think it's going to end, I feel like we got to at least acknowledge that they are 3-0, right? I'll say it like that. All right, so let's look at this week coming up. Let's look at some of these matchups. So we got some games tonight. We got Philly up against Indiana right now. That game's almost done, actually. Philly's up by 1. Let's look at some other matchups this week. New Orleans, no, maybe not that one. The Clippers and Warriors go tonight as well.
We haven't hit on
Let's
the
see
Clippers
what's
Stadium.
on TV.
Stadium watch.
I need to our next pod, I'll try to find a video so we can actually show that. That thing's dope.
Hey, you guys.
With the wall, the college wall.
Norman Powell. Is that his name?
Norman Powell.
Yeah.
Buckets.
Wait, Norman Powell? No. Is it Norman Powell?
No, for the Clippers?
Norman Powell, I think.
Yeah. Norman Powell, yeah.
He had like 8 threes.
Yeah.
He had like 8 threes the other day.
Yeah, he is. He is a bucket, though.
Harden looking good.
Hey, Harden looking lean. Hey, the Ozempic is cool right now.
He lost weight.
Hey, the big O.
No more
the
chicken
big O.
wings.
Out there. He looked gassed out there though.
Yeah. Oh, Ozempic can't do that with the stamina, bro. You still got
Yeah,
to,
you're right.
you still,
You're right.
you still got to put the work in.
Yo,
We got
tonight,
Pels. Okay, we got Pels Tuesday night. We got Pels and Warriors. That should be a good one.
Yeah.
What you
tonight
say, D?
or was this Tuesday? Honestly, this
Dallas and
week looks
Minnesota.
cheeks. This week is
Dallas,
cheeks.
Is it weak?
Dallas and Minnesota. All right, y'all. So we got let's see, big games. Yeah, that's not the best week. So, all right, well, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. We will look to reconvene maybe middle of this week. Worst case, we'll touch base this time next week. And for those that are listening to our pod, we appreciate it. Please feel free to subscribe. Still working through exactly what platform we're going to use. I got a kid in the background hollering. So, on that note, y'all, we're out. Appreciate you.